Every public figure has a beginning that looks nothing like the image people later recognize on screens. Before the attention, before the opinions, and before the controversy, there is an ordinary life shaped by routine, uncertainty, and personal dreams. Cumatozze's story begins in that same ordinary space, far from global recognition. Like many others, his early years were defined by searching for identity, dealing with everyday pressures, and trying to understand what success might look like in a world that rarely offers clear answers. Growing up, life was not about fame or headlines. It was about fitting in, surviving expectations, and navigating personal circumstances that were neither dramatic nor glamorous. Friends remember him as quiet but observant, someone who watched people closely and learned from their behavior. There was a sense of curiosity, mixed with restlessness, as if he knew that his life would not follow a predictable path. School, early work experiences, and social circles all played their part in shaping his worldview, but none of them hinted at the direction his life would eventually take. As adulthood approached, reality began to feel heavier. Financial pressure, limited opportunities, and the constant comparison to others created an internal struggle that many people silently experience. The idea of a normal career felt increasingly distant. Jobs came and went, each one offering stability for a moment but never fulfillment. During this period, Cumatozze faced a question that defines many turning points in life: whether to keep following a safe path that felt empty, or take a risk that could change everything. The decision to enter the adult entertainment industry did not happen overnight. It was the result of conversations, exposure to alternative lifestyles, and the realization that unconventional choices sometimes offer doors that traditional paths keep closed. For Cumatozze, the industry represented opportunity, financial independence, and a chance to control his own narrative, even if that narrative would later be judged by millions. It was not about instant fame, it was about survival, agency, and making a bold choice in a moment of uncertainty. The early days in the industry were far from easy. Adjusting to the environment, understanding professional expectations, and dealing with personal boundaries required mental strength. There was excitement, but also doubt. Behind the scenes, the work demanded discipline, confidence, and emotional resilience. Public perception was something he had to learn to ignore quickly, because judgment came faster than understanding. Every step forward felt like walking against a powerful current. As time passed, recognition began to grow. A name that once meant nothing outside a small circle started appearing across platforms, conversations, and online spaces. With recognition came financial improvement and professional validation. Success, however, brought its own challenges. Fame inside any industry changes how people treat you. Relationships shift, trust becomes complicated, and privacy slowly disappears. Cumatozze learned that visibility is a double-edged sword. It opens doors, but it also removes places to hide. Social media amplified everything. Fans felt closer, critics felt louder, and rumors traveled faster than truth. Every appearance, every decision, and every absence became something people wanted to interpret. The internet created a version of Cumatozze that was larger than the real person, a public image that no individual can fully control. This gap between who someone is and who the world thinks they are can become exhausting, and for many public figures, it becomes the hardest part of fame. Mentally, the pressure was intense. The expectation to maintain an image, stay relevant, and constantly perform, both professionally and socially, can erode a person's sense of self. Cumatozze, like many in high-exposure careers, experienced moments of isolation despite being surrounded by attention. Success did not erase self-doubt. In some ways, it magnified it. Questions about longevity, identity, and personal value surfaced more often as fame grew. At the same time, there were lessons. The journey taught him resilience, self-awareness, and the importance of boundaries. He learned how quickly public opinion can change and how dangerous it is to build self-worth entirely on external validation. Money and recognition solved certain problems, but they could not replace peace of mind. This realization marked a shift in how he viewed both his career and his future. Outside of work, life became about balance. Finding normalcy in a world that constantly pulls you into extremes is not easy. Simple things, privacy, genuine friendships, quiet moments, became more valuable than attention. Cumatozze began to understand that success is not just about visibility, but about sustainability. How long can a person live under constant observation without losing themselves? As conversations around mental health and personal agency became more common, his story started to be seen differently. Not just as a controversial career choice, but as a reflection of broader social realities, how people navigate limited options, how industries shape identities, and how fame impacts mental well-being. Viewers who looked beyond the surface began to see a human story rather than a label. Over time, the question shifted from how famous he was to what his journey represented. For some, it became a cautionary tale about the cost of rapid fame. For others, it was a story of taking control in an unforgiving system. The truth, as always, exists somewhere in between. Life rarely fits neatly into categories of success or failure. Today, when people search his name, they find opinions before facts and assumptions before context. But behind all of that is a person who made choices based on the information, pressure, and opportunities available at the time. His journey reminds us that no one is defined by a single decision, and no career path fully captures the complexity of a human life. Cumatozze's story is not just about global fame, it is about the price that often comes with it. It shows how quickly society consumes individuals and how rarely it pauses to understand them. Fame can elevate, but it can also isolate. It can provide freedom, but it can also create new forms of confinement. In the end, what remains most powerful is the lesson. Every visible life hides invisible struggles. Every controversial figure has a backstory shaped by circumstance, choice, and consequence. Understanding these stories does not require agreement or approval, only empathy and awareness. Because behind every exposed life is a human being trying, like everyone else, to find meaning, stability, and peace in a complicated world.